Welcome to the Jeff State Sim Lab. This is your tutorial on the Abbott Plum pump. These are the supplies that you will need. Today, for instructional purposes only, we have fluid that is colored blue so you can see priming easier. This is our primary bag. This is our secondary bag for an antibiotic. We have primary Plum set tubing that will go with our primary fluids, and we have secondary Plum set tubing that will go for our secondary antibiotic set. No matter what the brand, you will always have primary tubing and secondary tubing. This is perforated, so we'll tear it open. This is the spike coming down. This is your drip chamber. This is the cassette that will be loaded into the Plum pump. This is a clamp as well that you can open and close. We will prime all of this tubing before we put it in the pump. It does have an air release cap on the end that will allow air to come out but not fluid, but it will keep the tip sterile so you can set it down. So now we're going to spike our bag of fluid. For today, this bag has already been used, which is why it has the little ear plug in it, but that's how you know we reuse bags around here. Make sure not to touch the spike. This is sterile. And now we're ready to go hang our bag of fluid. Now that we have our fluid hanging, we're ready to prime the tubing. I did clamp the tubing prior to hanging it up, and I also have the white clamp here pushed in. So I'll unclamp, squeeze the drip chamber to allow fluid to fill up to the line, and holding the cassette inverted, so I'm holding it upside down, I'm going to open this clamp to allow this part of the cartridge to fill. So I'll open. It starts to fill. As soon as it fills, I'm going to turn it over and allow the circle to fill. Now my cartridge is fully primed, and I can allow the rest of the tubing to prime by gravity. Now our tubing is primed and ready to load in the pump. For this pump, the Plum pump, this is where the cartridge goes, and there is a lever right here that says pull. Please pull where it says pull. Don't pull anywhere else on here because you will tear up the pump. Where it says pull, pull. The cartridge is to fit in. If you look at the cartridge, it's very natural how it goes in. The tubing should be on the outside where you can see it, and it goes in at a slight angle, so it doesn't go just straight up and down. You're going to miss the cartridge if you try and go straight up and down. Go at a slight angle, and then where we pulled earlier, now you're going to push. And now our cartridge is loaded into the pump. So we're now ready to turn the pump on. On. It has to go through its self-checks before we can program it. So now it gives us the option to program either channel A or channel B. Channel A is our primary, channel B is going to be a secondary. So right now we're going to program a primary, so I'm going to choose A. Now it gives me the option to program a rate, so we'll pick 50. I use my arrows. VTBI is volume to be infused. So how much fluid do I want to go to the patient? So we're going to say I've got about 200 left, so we'll say 200. And then start is green. Start. Now we have our fluids connected to our patient and our pump is running. We're now ready to hang our antibiotic. So I'm going to get the secondary set. Make sure I clamp the tubing, not touching the spike. Spike my piggyback bag. Now I'm going to hang up my piggyback. Now since I clamped this, it's not going all over my shoes. If I forgot to unclamp it, it would go everywhere. So I'm going to do the same thing, just like I primed this. Fill the drip chamber to the line. And then unclamp for just a quick moment to let that prime out. And it's primed. I do have to clean with alcohol. Remove the cap. This is a lure lock, so you push and there's the screw top, so push and twist. And I need to unclamp. So coming down to my pump, I'm going to hit stop. And I'm doing a piggyback, so now I'm going to program channel B. So channel B, I want to infuse this bag over an hour. So there is 100 milliliters in that bag. So I'm going to use my arrows. So my rate will be 100. Use my arrow again. My volume to be infused is 100. And then if you want a safety to check your math that this will go in over an hour, it also tells you that it goes in over an hour. So if you've done your calculation wrong, it will tell you the time frame you've programmed. So I'm happy with that, so now I'll hit start. It's asking me that line A is stopped. Do I want to continue? With this pump, you have two options. You can infuse the primary and the piggyback at the same time, or just do one. For our purposes, I'm going to just do one. So I'll hit yes, continue. And you see that my piggyback is running. The light is flashing. It says pumping. My primary, there's no light flashing, and it says stopped. So my piggyback is now infusing.